got a week of football under here. I was just going back and forth with my mans and them, the torch he up in here. But first, I'd like to introduce my lovely co-host, the Steelers extraordinaire, Miss Ramona Die Hard Die. We got her up in the house.
Hey guys, good to see y'all.
What's going on, Mona? How you doing? You over there? You smiling? You got on the Rocky Bar jersey. She got on the good lipstick. She got the visor on, the good lipstick. We ready to roll. We're going to talk a little bit of football tonight. Really happy to have you guys in here. It's been a very it's been one of them kind of weeks, but we got football back. We got through our first full week of football. I got the torch up in here. I got the torch, the fire starter. The trouble starter.
Always ready to fire start. You know what?
Lighting up things. We were having
Dallas Cowboys fan. Here you go.
We're a couple of minutes late. Me and Dre, we were having a little debate. You know how me and him do before we went on the air. So
and it's gonna go down tonight, by the way. I hope y'all make that a topic tonight.
That's just what we do. That's what we do. He always welcome to come up in here. Make sure y'all are liking and sharing the show. Make sure y'all are downloading the On Point Network. We need those views. Make sure you're liking it and sharing it. The Rise Up family. We're doing big things over here. We're gonna talk a little bit of football. So as usual, whenever we get started, we like to do news and notes. What's going on? First thing was we got a new. Okay, I just want to know one thing. Where the hell are the Rams getting all this money at? A couple of months ago, they had like $100 on their salary cap, and since then they didn't sign Jalen Ramsey, and then today they signed Robert Woods for 4 years, $65 million. I don't know where the hell they getting all this money from, but I don't know. Maybe they got a stash on an offshore account somewhere. I don't know.
Here I go fire starting. Here I go starting trouble again. Hey, Marcus, are you asking that question because you watched highlights of Aaron Donald just pummel through your offensive line? Is that why you asking that question? Because I see him pummel. He pummeled y'all.
Aaron Donald. Can we say Aaron Donald? I'll say it. Y'all might not say it. I'll say it. I'll go ahead and say it. Aaron Donald is the best interior defensive lineman that I've seen since Warren Sapp. Is that fair?
Agreed.
Do you agree, Ramona?
Yeah.
I got one better. I got one better. Hot take. Ready? I'm fire starting tonight. Okay. I'm loaded. I'm strapped in. Okay. Aaron Donald, when his career is over, will be better than Warren Sapp.
Okay. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised one damn bit. He's the best interior defensive lineman that I've seen since Warren Sapp. So yeah, he was a game wrecker. He gave us fits. I will say, it was tough not having. It really showed Travis Frederick retiring on that inside there, and he just was having his way. But I thought the kid Connor Williams, he did okay. Joe Looney, he did okay, and then Leo Collins being. I don't make excuses. I don't do moral victories. We lost. It was a close game, 2017, and he did what he did. So I give credit where credit's due. But congratulations to Robert. Congratulations to Robert Woods on that money. He's making probably about $16 million a year. I don't think Robert Woods is a good player. I don't think that he's a 4-year, $65 million a year player. That's just me. But they think that he is, and I guess teaming up with him and Cooper Kupp. So that's what they decided to do. So congratulations with that. C.J. Anderson retired today. Running back, started with the Denver Broncos. He 29 years old. He decided to hang them up today. What else? George Kittle ruled out for this week for the 49ers. So, it's I said it before whenever the season started and we didn't have any preseason games and we didn't have any, OTAs. I figured that there would be a lot of injuries. When you just go from, a couple of weeks of practice straight to, live fire, full throttle football games, that's what happens. You see a lot of stuff happening, and I just hope these guys I hope they're yeah, I think this is the play here where he just flattened Looney. Yeah, that's bad, man. That's really bad. That's real bad. That's real bad. I mean, it's Aaron Donald he's a problem. He's a problem. So, I give him all the credit in the world. And, the Rams, they got a tough division over there, the NFC West. And we're gonna see. There's whoever the last person standing, them, the 49ers and the I was very impressed with the Cardinals this week as well. So that's the news and notes. That's pretty much. And so I guess we'll move on. Ramona, was there anything from week one that kind of stood to you before wrapping up? Well, we'll talk about the. So the first week, the first week's up in the books. We I did okay on my picks. Are you in the pick'em league, Dre?
Yeah, so if I can figure out how to get it done. If I can figure out how to get it done.
So last night we had a game. We had the Browns and the Bengals. And man, look, we had two former number one overall picks in the draft, and I think you see the difference between it. And Baker Mayfield, he had a good game last night. He had a good game. I don't have the stats with me on that, but I think it was more. Me and Mona, we talked about it a little bit earlier, and I think he was really helped out by the running game. I think Kareem Hunt had like 90 yards and Nick Chubb had like 124. So they ran all up and down the field on the Bengals. They just couldn't stop the run game. But Joe Burrow, it's very rare that you get a player that lives up to their draft status. You get a lot of these guys. You get the Jamarcus Russells of the world. And then you get a guy like Joe Burrows, and I was a little bit hesitant whenever he went number one. I thought he came out of nowhere and had a miraculous season. Transferred from Ohio State down to LSU and took over. And you didn't before last year's college season. You didn't really hear about this guy, and he took LSU and just went on a magical journey. Won the national championship, won the Heisman Trophy, number one pick in the draft. And in my opinion, this guy is this guy's the real deal, man. If the Bengals, and we are talking about the Bengals here, who's a trash organization, but if they can protect this kid and not ruin him and get him hit and beat up for the whole time that he's there, I don't want to see him get ruined. This kid can be special. So, Ramona, what are your thoughts on the game last night? Caught some highlights and stuff. What is your takeaway from the game?
Well, I didn't get to watch the game last night. Watched some highlights today. I think that Cincinnati is working towards building something good. If they keep building up that team around Joe Burrow, I think that that team can definitely be rivals in that division. Right now, I mean, we know that Baltimore Ravens are just killing on the field, and I don't expect to see that stop this weekend either. Hey, Dalton, good to see you. Out of the division, how I feel about Cincinnati. Can't stand that team. cannot stand them. Granted, being a Steeler fan, you'd think it would be Baltimore or Cleveland. Cleveland, I remember, the rivalries of the 70s and 80s with Cleveland. Not so much, with Cincinnati until like mid 80s to mid 90s at that point. But still, even with Cincinnati, it's the fans. It's the fans. Can't stand the fans. Baltimore, great rival. Good to see Big Ben back on that Steeler team. Granted, I know his days were numbered, so we're going to be looking for a new quarterback in the next year and a half, 2 years, something like that. So, but I think that Joe Burrows is a good quarterback. I don't know if he's going to get the help that he's going to need to push the Bengals forward. I think that they've got a lot of veteran players on their team that they've got to start getting rid of. So we'll see what happens, with that. But right now, I just think Cincinnati looked pretty good.
I think they need to, if they can surround this kid with some talent. Now, I think AJ Green, he's towards the back end of his career. I like the kid Tyler Boyd. John Ross hasn't really lived up to it. They lost the tight end last night, Uzoma. He's out for the season. They lost him last night. Tyler Eifert never really panned out, but they got a good quarterback. They got a good running back in Joe Mixon. I like the kid Joe Mixon. T. Higgins showed a little something last night. They drafted him one of their high draft pick wide receivers. So if they can just protect this kid, he's mobile. He if he has to run, he will run, and he's run a little bit and gotten out of a little bit of trouble. I just want to see this kid make it to his potential, because I believe if they can protect him and not get him beat up in his first couple of years, I don't want him to go down the. Ramona, we were talking about this, before we went on the air. I don't want to see him go down the route of Andrew Luck, where his first couple of years he got the hell beat out of him. And then by the time they finally got an offensive line and finally got some talent around him, he was so beat up, it was like, I'm out of here. Retire at 29, 30 years old. So, he's 22 years old, 22, 23. I don't want to see him get beat up for 6, 7 years. And then by the time they finally get something around him, he's just done. So we'll see what happens. I think he's got a bright future. He's been impressive to me the past couple of weeks. So we'll see how it goes. But it was a good game. It was actually an entertaining game, I don't know if it's because we're starving for football. But I thought it was a pretty entertaining game. So
it's a division. Well, think about it. Most of your division games are interesting games. You rarely see division rivals and it not turn out to be a decent, good football game.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining. Normally, it is 2020. Normally, if the Bengals and Browns were playing on Thursday night, under any other year, I probably would turn off the TV or watch some Netflix or something. But it was actually a pretty entertaining game. So that's the wrap up for that. So we're going to start with week 2. We're going to start with week 2 and start these games. First game we're going to talk about is the Titans and Jags. I will tell you what I will say this, and this is a shout out to Ada Cruz. I was extremely impressed with the Jags last week. That was the shock of the week to me. I actually picked the Colts, and I think mostly everybody else did too. Even you, Ada. Don't act like you picked the Jags to win that game. But the Jags, they won that. They won that game, and I was thoroughly impressed. And I think it goes to show football is the ultimate team sport. And it really is. And sometimes getting rid of a bunch of bad apples actually makes you better. When you get rid of the bad influences in your life, and Ramona, I think you could probably attest to this a little bit more with the Antonio Browns and Le'Veon Bells and Plaxico Burress, guys like that
Yeah.
they were locker room cancers. And when you get rid of guys like that, you start getting factors in the locker room. These guys are with this guy. These guys are with this guy. And then you start having a fractured locker room. And it just, football, you have to be on the same. You got 53 men that got to be on the same sheet of music. So I was impressed with what the Jags did. But this is Tennessee. And I think Tennessee this week, sometimes you come out and you kind of surprise people. And I think that's what they did. They kind of snuck up on them. I fully expect this to be the Derrick Henry show. I expect Derrick Henry to run the ball down their throats. I expect them to, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I expect a very heavy dosage of Derrick Henry. And then after they do that, I expect some play action. I think A.J. Brown is out of this game. I'm expecting Jonnu Smith. And Corey Davis finally showed up. Corey Davis, former first-round pick out of somewhere, Central Michigan, I think. I expect him, and I think the Titans win this game. I think they bring the Jags back down to earth, and I think Derrick Henry runs wild. What do you think, Mona?
Oh, I absolutely agree. And I think it happens exactly the way you said it. Derrick Henry is going to eat big time. He's going to have a full course meal. I think $1.60, maybe even $1.80. I think they're going to. He's the workhorse. He's the workhorse.
Yeah,
I think that score is going to be so lopsided. I think you're going to see Derrick Henry with at least 3 touchdowns of his own. And I'm not sold on Tennessee's defense, so I do think Jacksonville will score, but I don't think it'll be. I think it'll be 34 to 10.
Yeah, I think that Tennessee defense will show up. I think when you look at the addition of Clowney, when you see a guy like Clowney and Harold Landry, I think they're going to scream off the edges, and I think that Gardner Minshew's in for a rough day this week. So I'm with you. I'm looking like maybe 27 to 10. And I'm with you. Derrick Henry, at least 2 touchdowns. But I think the X factor in this game will be Jonnu Smith, the tight end. I think he's going to pick up those receptions left by A.J. Brown. So moving on, next game, Carolina versus Tampa Bay. And speaking of surprises from last week, is Tom Brady mortal? Has Tom Brady finally has the sun set on the GOAT? Tom Brady, look, I'm gonna say this, and see, me and some of my buddies, we were talking about this. Tom Brady looked old last week. And it just goes to show you, look, all of your sports heroes out there, they eventually get old. That's what happens. Everybody remember Michael Jordan with the Washington Wizards? Everybody remember that? Joe Montana with the Kansas City Chiefs? Everybody remember that? Emmitt Smith with the Arizona Cardinals? All of your, watching Roy Jones Jr. get knocked out, watching Muhammad Ali get beat up by Larry Holmes. All of your sports heroes, they eventually get old, and people think that their favorite players are going to play forever. Now, I thought last week was an aberration. I don't think that Brady's going to look that bad again, but he looked bad last week. But they're playing Carolina.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I have a little bit of I almost want to throw up in my mouth a little when I say this, but I think that you also got to look at who they were playing against. The New Orleans Saints they're not a chump team. They're not a chump team. I mean, we knew Kamara was going to eat, and the one thing that I worried about with having Bruce Arians as a head coach is the defense. I'm not sold on their defense. Alvin Kamara made them look like their defense was made out of like a Sith, basically. Kamara had a great first game. And I don't think Carolina has any of that to throw at Tampa Bay. And I do not think Carolina's defense will stop Tampa Bay. So I think that Tampa wins this weekend. And I think they win pretty big. I think they win 28-12. I don't even know that Carolina will have 2 touchdowns against them.
I'll tell you who I'm really expecting to show out this week, and I think this is the week that he shows up. I think Leonard Fournette. I think this is when they unveiled Leonard Fournette. I could see this is what they brought him in for. And, everybody, I saw the memes last week. Oh, look at Leonard Fournette. Dude, he had been on the team for like 4 days. You're not going to put this guy out. A lot of y'all see one bad game and then y'all make a conclusion about, oh man, Leonard Fournette, he sucks, man. He goes there and he's sitting on the bench. You have to also understand when they put Leonard Fournette on the field, he's got to be able to pass. He's got to be able to pass block too. They're not going to put him out there and have him on pass blocking and he doesn't know his assignment and then Tom Brady gets earholed. So you got to look at the whole game. Some of y'all overreact. Y'all see one thing. Tom Brady's done. They played against the Saints, who are a damn good team. We got to remember, like you said, Mona, how good the Saints have been. I think it was just they caught them on a bad day. But I think this week, I don't think it's going to even be close. I think the Bucks kicked the dog snot out of Carolina. I really do. I think Leonard Fournette. I think he gets 25 touches. I think Brady gets the ball. I can see him spreading the ball around. Mike Evans was not healthy last week. I think you see Mike Evans. Now, Chris Godwin, he's on the injury report. I don't know if he'll play, but I think you'll see Gronk. I think you'll see O.J. Howard, and I think you'll see Leonard Fournette running up and down the field. So I got the Bucks 28-12.
That's what I just said.
Great minds think alike.
You want to read some of the comments?
Let's do it. Let's see here. We got Titans trust Raven. Dalton Smith says AJ Brown is out on Sunday. Derrick Henry about to get fed. Titans 24, Jags 10. Dalton Smith, Corey Davis came out of Western Michigan. I knew he was from Central Michigan. I think that was Antonio Brown. Tyler Bonner. Oh my gosh. Welcome to the show, buddy. Derrick Henry featuring Coach Ronehouse. That's my old high school football coach. Coach offense is a win without a doubt. Marcus Betts, what do you think? I think Derrick Henry runs wild. The Titans are the same team from last season. Time will tell us if they're better or worse than last season. They do have a run game that travels, though. William Richter, Buffalo going to squish them. Flectron Moore, the front seven is the beast. Minshew will be running for his life. Darren Yon, I have minimal season expectation for my Panthers. Clowney sighting. Tom Brady looked like he was done and preparing for his last season. Derek Carr got off on the Panthers defense. What do y'all think Brady's going to do? I'm with you. I got Buccaneers. Darren Yon, and Fournette has a great game. Don't make a lot out of it. We're a young defense with no identity. Yeah, and that's why I think they're going to run him. The Saints offense will be different without Thomas for a few weeks. Yeah, Mike Thomas is out. Terry Mullen, how about those Steelers, Ramona Dye? And Dalton says they had to believe Michael Thomas has a chance. They said they believe Michael Thomas has a chance to play on Monday. I don't think he's going to play. I don't think the way he fell. So moving on to our next game. Guys, please like and share the show. As you know, you're watching the Alphabets Football Talk Show with the Rise Up family on the On Point Network. Make sure y'all like and share. Next game, we're going to talk about speaking of the Steelers. I see Ramona over there smiling from ear to ear. Broncos and Steelers. And Ramona, you know what? I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna go ahead and sit back here, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk about last week's game because I will say this: Ramona has been saying, and I like to give credit where credit's due. You know, when people say stuff, and I was saying the same thing, but she's got a little bit more insight on this than I do. So, what did you see from Big Ben last week, and what do you see with the Broncos game this week?
A whole lot of excitement. A whole lot of excitement. I'm excited. You know, watching Ben throw that ball to Claypool was amazing. Deontay Johnson had kind of a rough start in that game. I blame it on, I don't know, first game jitters, you know, no preseason, no real great training camp kind of thing. But Melissa, if you're out there, I don't know if you might tag Melissa. Love her to death. But I think that the Steelers will. I think that Steelers defense is going to score some points against Denver. I was really impressed. You could tell those boys on that defensive side of the ball, man, they were wanting to hit. That defense was still really exciting to watch. You know me, I'm a defensive girl. You know, I can absolutely say that Monday night was like the best night I've had this year, except for my granddaughter being born. It's a fact. You know, that was just having football back has just been a blessing for a lot of people who, you know, still aren't back to work. A lot of people aren't working. A lot of people aren't going out and doing anything, so they're staying home and, you know, got sports to watch still, thank God. But I'm just real excited. I'm real excited. Ben looked great. And, you know, first probably 10 minutes of the game, there was a little bit of rust I saw. But, you know, hey, that happens with every one of them, in my opinion. So, but considering the kind of surgery that he had on his elbow and the way he was throwing the football and you know, seemed to be, you know, dinging and dunking the ball all over the field, I was pretty happy with it. So I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think we score. I could see, you know, maybe a 28, maybe 31 points against Denver. I'm not sold on Denver. I'm not sold on their offense. I'm not sold on that defense. So, you know, that's my take on it. So, but I think my Steelers pull this one off.
Well, you have. I think it's a blowout. I think I was so impressed with Big Ben last week. You know, I tell people all the time, without a quarterback, you know, it's hard to function without a quarterback. And me and you, we've had debates and going back and forth with people. You know, always Juju a number one. You know, he looked like crap last season. Well, when you have a fourth-string quarterback out there instead of a future Hall of Famer, and make no doubt about it, Big Ben Roethlisberger is a future Hall of Famer. I don't know if he's a first-ballot Hall of Famer. I think he is. Some people don't think he is, but he's damn sure a future Hall of Famer. And
Dalton said Lindsley is out, too, for Denver.
Philip Lindsay's out. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. But they got Melvin Gordon. But I just think that that Steeler defense, you know, this is I think this is a very balanced team. The thing that was hurting them last year is they had no offense, none. They were just basically out there, the defense and the offense is
all we had last year was a running game, and we didn't have much of that because, I mean, you know, Connor's missed 6 games last year. And when you become a one-dimensional offense, and I've said this, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, when you can make a football team one-dimensional, all you got to do is stuff the run, because they knew our quarterbacks that were playing last year couldn't throw the football.
Exactly.
It's a fact.
When you look at it, it's hard. And then when your quarterback is, is a turnover machine, and he keeps giving the ball back. Eventually, your defense breaks down. I say that all the time. Duck Hodges, he's, or they're just not moving the ball. It's tough on your defense, and eventually your defense breaks. Now you got a quarterback who can read the field, who's going to hit open receivers. And then the injuries kind of caught up with him last year. Again, Connor's hurt. James Conner gets hurt again, and I was impressed with the kid Benny Snell. So
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm so excited for Benny Snell. Oh, you have no idea. I just love watching this kid play. Love his grit.
Yeah.
And he's a lot faster than what people realize. Yeah. He's a lot faster. Once he gets out in the open, man, that kid can absolutely book it.
He's not as fast as James Conner, but he's more durable. Like James Conner, for all of his talents, and I think he's an extremely talented back. I love watching the running back position. I love it. And the kid, I salute him for everything he's overcome with cancer and stuff like that. There are people that thought he would never play again, and he's came in his rookie year. He had a great, but the guy is always injured. And like
reminds me of Deuce Staley. You remember Deuce Staley?
Deuce Staley. I remember.
That's exactly who he reminds me of. Deuce Staley was a workhorse when he was healthy.
Yeah. Well, he reminds me of Arian Foster. That's who the hell he reminds me of. Former running back for the Houston Texans.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
The guy would run. He'd have great games. He'd be one of the top picks in fantasy football. And it's guaranteed he would miss 4 or 5 games. He would tweak something, and it would just be a lingering injury all season. And then he kind of, So I think the Steelers. I think this is a blowout. I think they get these guys out of there. So next game, we got an NFC battle. I'm a little bit upset with the Rams. With them. First off, I want to say this too. Dre, he liked to start. He liked to sneak a little bit of Rams footage up in there and try to be a smart ass. Okay, that's cool. Can we all give the Oscar award to Jalen Ramsey for that crappy pass interference at the end of the game? Now, I will say this. That was not offensive pass interference. I will argue with anybody. I'm going back a little bit here because this is a little touchy for me. But the way when God is holding your arm when you're trying to run your route and you're trying to shake him off and he's trying to hook you with his arm, what else are you supposed to do? I just wanted to get that out there. So let's go back to this game. I meant to say that earlier in the show. Rams versus Eagles. The Eagles look, we lost 20-17 on a game we could have won. With Aaron Donald dominating the game, lost 2017. The Eagles look bad last week. They look really bad.
I mean, let's look at the players they have missing too. I'm going to give credit where credit's due because I know what it's like to be playing, to be watching a team, being a fan of a team that has the injuries they've got. The guys who chose to not play this year, kind of thing. But I honestly, I'm taking the Rams. I'm taking the Rams in this. And isn't this Philly's first home game? They weren't home last weekend, were they?
I don't know if they were at home. All I know
think they were in Washington. Let me look.
Were they in Washington?
Yeah, they were in Washington last week. So this is their first home game. But I don't see them beating. I just don't see them winning.
No Alshon Jeffrey. Zach Ertz is a little bit hurt. Deshaun Jackson coming back. No, I don't know if Miles Sanders is playing. They're missing a lot of guys on the offensive side.
Well, Ertz is questionable for
Carson Wentz got sacked 8 times last week. 8 times. 8 times by the Washington football team. And
so what do you think that
But what do you think Aaron
Donald's going to do? What Donald's going to do?
Now in their defense, people are going to start respecting the Washington football team's defensive line. You got a bunch of first-round picks over there. You got the number 2 pick from this past draft in Chase Young. But Aaron Donald, he might have 4 or 5 sacks in this game just by himself. I feel bad for Carson Wentz because, and then it's fragile.
Well, I think by maybe halftime you're gonna hear over the loudspeaker, Wentz is now hurts.
Yeah,
You could very well see that. I mean,
you can't keep taking a beating like that. And I think that this week, I think that I don't wish injury on anybody. I hope that they're able to protect him, because he's not the kind of guy that and the thing with Aaron Donald is he applies that pressure in the middle. Most quarterbacks like to step into the pocket and throw, but you got Aaron Donald crashing the pocket. We just saw the video of what Aaron Donald did to my Cowboys, and when you got a defensive lineman coming in your face from the middle of the pocket, it could be for a long day. So I'm going to take. You need to
teach Dak to scramble left.
Yeah, he so good luck, Carson Wentz. Good luck to the Eagles. I got the Rams in this one. I'll say 20-10. 20-10.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 21-7. I'll give them a touchdown and an extra point.
Yeah, I just don't see the Eagles scoring a lot of games, so I'm gonna take the Rams on this one.
You like to read a couple of comments?
Why don't you give some of that good footage from our cleats that we're going to be giving away next week? As you guys know, the Rise Up family, we've started a couple of raffles. And the first pair of shoes, cleats, they're Under Armour custom-made cleats designed by Ruben Lindley. He did an outstanding job on these. He does a lot of work for me. Anything that I come up with, shout out to Ruben Lindley back in my hometown in Clovis, New Mexico. You got a week next Sunday on the Buffalo Bills early show with Andre the Torch Robinson. We're going to be giving away these cleats here. Make sure you go in and get your tickets. Because next week we will be announcing the winner. And we will be sending these cleats to whoever our winner is. I will get them in the mail to you, and we will send these to you. So if you want those cleats, we're based out of Buffalo. All you Buffalo Bills fans, y'all need to be getting those. Put them up on your mantle somewhere. Put them up in your man cave. Put them up on your desk in a case or something like that. Make sure you get the tickets for that. So if you want an opportunity to win those cleats, make sure that you get up in there. So I'm gonna read some of these comments. What we got here? Good. Sharon Mullen says, "Love Snail." She said, "Snail." Letitia Harding, what's going on? Darren Yon, Denver losing Von Miller hurts with games like these. They'll have to find another way to get to Big Ben. I like what Bradley Chubb did last week. He did pretty good. Arian, Mr. Salute, bad knees. Eagles by 3. Eagles by 3. Okay. Let's see here. This is the Eagles' first home game. The Eagles have no offensive line. It's over. Rams in a blowout. Miles Sanders returns. Goddard is the only real target. Sanders is playing and Lane Johnson's supposed to play. There, y'all, matchup-wise, I like the Rams over Eagles. Rams defense will stifle Wentz. I don't see them surviving that pass rush. Me neither. Carson Wentz to be substituted by Jalen Hurts. Rams 35, Eagles 12. Okay, so everybody's most of the picks I see here is the Rams. So moving on to our next game.
Oh, it's taking this time to come up.
All right, we got those San Francisco 49ers versus the New York Football Jets. Well, last week, the defending NFC champions, they lost to the Cardinals last week. I'm just going to say this, and Ramona, I don't know if you agree with this. Jimmy G's not a good quarterback. He's not. He is. I
Not
say
sold on him.
and all of my 49ers fans. Every time I say this, shout out to my boy Tito Tolet. Every time I say Jimmy G's not a good quarterback, Marcus, come on, man. I'm like, you had a great defense. George Kittle's probably not going to play in this game. Debo Samuel's not playing in this game. So it's Mostert, the running back, and who else? Now, that being said, the Jets are terrible. Your old homeboy, your homeboy, Le'Veon Bell, one of your favorite players. He's hurt.
Listen. Let's get something straight. AB is one of my least favorite people ever who has left Pittsburgh. Le'Veon Bell, I really don't have a problem with. He really didn't cause any locker room scandals and problems or anything like that with the team. He made promises to that offensive line who just knew that Lev Bell was going to show up, and didn't. Yeah. I understand he didn't want to take the chance of getting hurt. He wanted to get the money that he was going to get from the Jets. Okay, got it. Understand it perfectly. Where's he at? Where's he been? What's he doing now? He ain't doing shit with the New York Jets, period. And had he stayed with Pittsburgh, granted, last year Ben got hurt. So, maybe we had a good year in 2018. He led the league in passing, and, would have had a better running game. Maybe at that point, maybe that team goes to the playoffs and another Super Bowl. Who knows? We certainly wouldn't go in with AB. Steeler fans knew that there was problems in the locker room long before anybody else did. When you have a guy who's sitting videotaping a locker room conversation from the coach to his teammates, there's a problem. Live on Facebook, I watched it. So but I just I have no problem with Lev Bell, but I still think that the 49ers defense will absolutely just trash.
Oh, yeah, they're going to beat.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
I do. I think Sam Darnold, no Crowder, no Bell. I think Frank Gore is going to start this game.
But you still have Garoppolo throwing the football, and no tight end. You got Mostert, so I could see a 21.
Yeah, but they don't have Jamal Adams over there either. What do the Jets have on defense? Probably right. Leonard Williams. That's about it. They don't have anything. They don't have anything on defense. All their players opted out. I think the 49ers should dominate this game, and I think they dominate this game through defense. I think Richard Sherman went on the IR for 2 or 3 weeks. But they don't have any receivers, so they don't really need them. The Jets don't have any receivers, so that they don't really need, Richard Sherman. So I think this is a Mostert game. Mostert and Jerick McKinnon, I think that they, little dump offs and run the ball. So moving on to our next game, the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, my favorite team, my second favorite team in the NFL. So we had history last week. Everybody congratulate Josh Allen. Everybody clap and give Josh Allen in his 3rd season had his first 300-yard game.
How many yards did Dak throw for last weekend?
2 something like that.
Did it help? Did you win?
Well,
I'm doing this for the fire starter.
I'm just saying. Look, Josh Allen had his first 300-yard game last week, in his 3rd season, and Joe Burrow had his first 300-yard game in his second start. And Josh Allen got his first 300-yard passing game.
Yeah.
In his 3rd season. In his 3rd season, he finally gets a 300-yard game.
Keep it up.
In the age,
I knew the fire starter was going to show up.
Come on, keep it up.
So you know, the Bills, they played. Look, that defense still. That defense, I'm telling you now. I think they lost. You lost both of your starting linebackers, right? Milano, is he playing this week?
So they are on day to day right now.
Okay.
Milano and Edmonds are both on.
But usually by Thursday, we know whether or not they're going to be playing.
Yeah, they just picked somebody up from a UB product. They just picked up a UB product. Cam, I forget his last name right now. Sorry. But they picked him up.
Oh, Dalton saying no, they're out. So
yeah, they're both
I don't
out.
think that
I know for a fact they're both out
Yeah.
because again they picked up UB product Cam. I forget his last name. I'll get it.
Dolphins aren't going to. Dolphins are not going to. They'll be lucky to score 3 points against that. I understand. I understand you got linebackers out, but still, come on. That defense is still going to be atrocious.
I think last week the thing that really hurt. I think the thing that really hurt the Dolphins last week is they couldn't stop Cam Newton.
Right.
If you can't stop, look. What is Cam Newton's game? A big quarterback running the football, right? What is Josh Allen going to do? He's going to run the football. Yeah. And I think this is the week here that you see that they unveil Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. I think you see the two-headed monster at running. Look, I give credit where, I laugh and joke. I'll give credit where credit's due. The Bills should win this game even without their starting linebackers. I think this game here, I could also see Stephon Diggs maybe going off. But I think this is to just run the ball, and then maybe Josh Allen takes a couple of shots down the field with John Brown and Stephon Diggs. They should win this game. I'll take the Bills in this game. I'm picking – look, this is the second week in a row I'm picking the Bills. So I don't want to hear no crap about anybody saying that I ain't giving the Bills no love.
Oh, you're a Bills hater?
You're only doing it because they playing the two teams that you think is terrible. By the way, his name is Cam Lewis, and put some respect on the Bills' name. By the way.
Yeah, the
Bills. I'm taking the Bills.
Yeah, I think the Bills in a laugher. Josh Allen, I think he did what he had to do. You can only play who's on your schedule. I still need to see him clean up his game. I keep saying the same thing, and y'all just keep. You cannot miss open targets sitting in the end zone wide open and throw the ball 5 feet over his head. You cannot fumble the ball twice in the red zone. You can do that against the Jets. You cannot do that against the 49ers. You cannot do that against the Chiefs. You cannot do that against the Cardinals. All teams who you will see in a few weeks. So good luck with that. And congratulations, you got the win. So moving on, next game, Colts and Vikings. Talking about one of the bigger disappointments from last week. I was extremely disappointed with the Colts last week. I really was. I just thought for sure they would go and stomp the crap out of the Jags, and they didn't. And they lost Marlon Mack. He's out for the year. They're starting running back. So I think very early we're going to see Jonathan Taylor's going to get his chance. He's going to get his chance. Actually, the guy who scored last week was Naheem Hines, the third down back. But I think you're going to see a lot of Jonathan Taylor. It's going to happen. So, Dre, what do you think? What do you think about this game?
I think he had to leave, but.
Okay, what do you think, Mona?
I think Minnesota stomps the crap out of Indianapolis.
Ooh,
really? I think they beat them 38 to 13.
38-13.
Yeah, I think.
I actually think this is a lower scoring affair. I think that, like I said, I think this is a run. I think both of the teams try to establish the run. I think you see the Vikings try to run Dalvin Cook. You can see last week with the Vikings that they really missed Stephon Diggs. They really missed Stephon.
Yeah.
They missed him last week, and like I said, Marlon Mack, he's gone for the year. So now, they drafted this kid to eventually take over for him anyways. So I think you see a lot of Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines. I think you see a lot of dump offs by Phillip Rivers to Nyheim Hines. And I think it'll be a low scoring game. I'm going to say 17-10. I think the Colts bounce back. And I think I'm going to take the Colts 17-10.
Okay. Well, like I said, I think Minnesota's going to have a lunging big time. Yeah. I really do. So
I think both the starting running backs in this game, I think they really get a lot of play. Dalvin Cook versus, to me, it's not a quarterback battle. I think this is more of a running back battle. I think you see Jonathan Taylor versus Dalvin Cook. So moving on.
I don't think Minnesota's defense is as bad as they looked last week. I just think the Packers are that much better.
Aaron Rodgers showed off. And speaking of Aaron Rodgers, we got the Detroit Lions versus the Green Bay Packers. Look,
and I know Andre's got to show up for this one. Come on.
Yeah. The demise of Aaron Rodgers has been greatly exaggerated. And Stephen A. Smith.
Are you talking about the serviceable quarterback?
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers. Before Patrick Mahomes came along, he was the best thrower of the football I've ever seen.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you've got Aaron Rodgers in fantasy football, start him this weekend because I think he is going to go all over the Detroit.
He might throw for 500 yards this week.
Yeah, and like 4 touchdowns.
Both of the Lions starting cornerbacks are out. Yeah. This is going to be ugly. I think Aaron Rodgers feasts. I think Devontae Adams feasts. I think Marquez Valdez-Scantling feasts. I think Allen Lazard feasts. All of the wide receivers from the Green Bay Packers should have a touchdown. So, it's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. I would feel bad sometimes for Matthew Stafford. He just gets a bum deal. He really does.
And I have always liked Matthew Stafford. I have always liked this kid. Just like Matt Ryan. I always liked Matt Ryan. When he came into the league, I saw how dangerous that kid could be. And I thought, wow, if he was actually playing for a team that, and it's not even the team. It's the coaching staff of the Atlanta Falcons. That's the problem. That's been the problem for him for a while, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But Matthew Stafford, his problem is where he went to play football at. And, sadly, we see these stellar quarterbacks get picked up by these not-so-stellar franchise owners who decide they don't want to put money into the people around these players. And that's what hurts these players. I hate seeing that. I mean, to go number one in the NFL draft is huge because, of course, you get more money. But, yeah.
You go to a terrible team. You go to a terrible team. We were just talking about Joe Burrow a little while ago. And it's like you go there and you have all this time. Joe Burrow's after the game, he said, "This is the first time I've ever lost back-to-back football games."
All right, great. It's good. I'm glad you're back. So, what do you think with this game coming up?
Watch the Lambeau League podcast coming up real soon. That's all I'm gonna say. Go Pack, go! For all you fools hating on Aaron Rodgers.
Not me. I think he's going to have a stellar weekend this weekend. So
yeah, I think this weekend he goes off. So he's a bad, in the words of Stephen A. Smith, he's a bad
man.
man. He's a bad man. So moving on.
38-7.
38-7. Yeah, I can see something like that.
Yeah.
My team, my Cowboys versus the Falcons. Shout out to Ron Thomas. I might have to see him and mess with him. Last week, they ran into a
Donaldson.
Aaron Donald. They ran into Aaron
Donald. I keep wanting to say Donaldson. I don't know why I do that for.
Yeah, Aaron Donald had a game. There's nobody on the Atlanta Falcons even close to Aaron Donald.
No, I agree.
I think this is a Zeke game. I think you see Ezekiel Elliott run wild. I think you see some Tony Pollard. It was very disappointing. Last week was very, on top of the loss, you lose 2 starters. You lose your starting middle linebacker, the Wolf Hunter, Leighton Vander Esch, and you also lose Blake Jarwin, your starting tight end, who was supposed to take over for Jason Witten. But I think in this game, you see a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. I think this is where you see your CeeDee Lamb starting. I think this is the game where CeeDee Lamb I think this is more of a CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup game. I think Amari Cooper, he's going to get his, but I just see the Cowboys I see the Cowboys offense going wild. I really do. But I see this probably being a shootout because our defense is questionable. I think Matt Ryan, he has a good game. I think, God forbid, whoever has to guard Julio Jones. I really feel sorry for the kid, the rookie, Trayvon Diggs. They're talking about him following Julio Jones around the field. I think that's a terrible idea, but that's what they're talking about. So I see this being a shootout. I'm going to say 35-32 Cowboys. What do you think, Mona?
I debated all week. I had Atlanta winning this in the pick'ems. I already had them selected. And I just don't. I think Dallas was embarrassed last week. I really do. And I think that they're gonna take it out on Atlanta. I think that I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. But I think that you guys pull the win off at the end. I'm going to go like 31-28, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think the other thing, I think the X factor in this game is I was so impressed with Aldon Smith last week. This guy not to have played 5 years, he's totally transformed his body from when he was with the 49ers and Raiders. This guy was out there wreaking havoc. And I think another week of having him back, I think you see the pass rushers of the Cowboys get after Matt Ryan this week. I think you see DeMarcus Lawrence, Everson Griffin, Aldon Smith, and I think they get after. And I just think Zeke runs wild. Zeke had a good game last week. I don't see anything the Falcons can do to stop Zeke. So
I think Atlanta can absolutely expose your defense.
Yeah, without a doubt. I am a little bit of that. We have some reinforcements coming, but Jordan Lewis will be back this week. We get Randy Gregory in a couple of weeks.
I was reading Jim's comment. We'll go ahead and read some of the comments, and because we've got about 3 games now since the last time we read comments.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Devontae feeding Tom Golladay is questionable. Packers. Trust Raven. What's up? Lions organization is trash. Darren Young, you fantasy football folks who have Rodgers and Adams in the lineup, they're going to win the week for you by themselves. Yuri says Atlanta Falcons. Falcons take Dak down. Robert Leader says that. Dalton Smith says Cowboys. William Richter says Atlanta 35, Dallas 33. Damn, you going to pick against my Cowboys? Darren Yon says, I'm torn emotionally being a Panthers fan. I can't stand the Falcons fans, and those Cowboys fans are atrocious. Thank you.
And you didn't. And the thing is did William Hill hear you actually take the Bills?
I called the Bills. Yeah.
I know you did.
Trust Raven says Falcons about to destroy this Cowboys defense. Okay. Make sure you're here next week. Robert Leader says Cowboys only score 17 points. I got some good. Terry Coke Zero says they score more than 10 points. Yuri says 33-23 Falcons. I will not read that comment. Alden Smith be on that lemon pound cake. That's an inside joke. Tito, get off of my show. Trust Raven. That's good. That's good, man. What do you think we're gonna do tomorrow? Earl Thomas about to be a Raider. Oh wow. Okay.
I'd heard some rumors that he might be headed to Vegas. So who knows?
I guess John Gruden didn't learn anything from the Antonio Brown experiment. Good luck with that. Look, when a team would rather take a $15 million salary cap hit just to get you the hell off their team, you might be a locker room cancer. So moving on, we got the Giants versus Chicago. The Mitchell Trubisky versus Danny Dimes. Mitchell Trubisky didn't play too bad last week. He didn't play too bad last week. But the Giant Saquon Barkley had 6 yards rushing last week. 6 yards. They shut him down. I don't think that they can do that to him again. I don't think the Bears defense can do that to him. I think this week, Saquon Barkley bounces back. I think Daniel Jones and Slayton and Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram, I think their wide receiver core, I think they get after the Bears. I'm going to take the Giants in this one. I'm going to say 24-17. Who you got, Mona? Okay. I guess I'm by myself. So I think last week, Mitchell Trubisky. Look, Allen Robinson wants out. He wants out. He wants out of town. I'm thinking before the trade deadline. I'm thinking Allen Robinson gets shipped out of town. I wasn't impressed with Montgomery. Montgomery was supposed to be the guy. He hasn't really showed up. They got 20 tight ends on the team. None of these guys have showed up. I don't know. And then again, Jason Garrett, the clapper, he's over there. I don't know what made the Giants think that Jason Garrett would be a better offensive coordinator. Did y'all not watch him last year with the Cowboys or the past 10 years with the Cowboys? And you guys decide to make him – there's no way that Saquon Barkley should ever only have 6 yards rushing. It just should never happen under any circumstances. It should never happen. How do you have one of the best running backs in the game and he has 6 yards rushing? To me, that's coaching. That's coaching. You roll the ball to Saquon Barkley. You throw the ball. You hand the ball to him. You do whatever you have to do. You keep giving him the ball. There's never a reason that Saquon Barkley should only have 6 yards rushing in a game. Never.
Hey, Big Ben had more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley did.
That's coaching. That's coaching. Now, don't get me wrong. The Steelers defense, I think the Steelers have the best defense in the league. I think they have the best defense in the league. There's never a reason that Saquon Barkley should only have 6 yards rushing. It just shouldn't happen. But I'm going to take the Giants. I'm going to take the Giants in this game. I think that, like you said about the Cowboys being embarrassed, I think the Giants were embarrassed. I think they were embarrassed. I think they're gonna run the football. They're gonna give the ball to Saquon Barkley a lot, and I think he has a great game.
I got Chicago. I think the Bears. I think that Bears defense is going to do exactly what Pittsburgh's defense did. Okay. I do. I think that they stopped Barkley. They put pressure on Danny Dimes again, but I'm gonna tell you something. I was impressed. I was actually impressed with how quickly Daniel can get the ball out.
Oh, he gets the ball out of his hands quick. He
does. Yeah, and he can move. You know, move. Yeah. He doesn't throw real well on the move. I noticed.
Well, when he plants his feet, he's deadly accurate, and he's got a hell of an arm. Now, I'm with you. When you get him off a point, he kind of he's not as accurate. But if you let him plant his feet, set his feet, that guy, he'll fire it off. And then when he has to run, he can run too. So Daniel Jones and Mitchell Trubisky, their game is a lot alike, except I just think Daniel Jones is a better thrower of the ball. He's a little bit more accurate. So, but I'm going to take the Giants in this one. I think the Giants bounce back this week.
You want to read some comments?
Give me them good Pittsburgh Steelers, please. Let me see those.
Alrighty.
Please.
Find them again. There you go.
Y'all be on the lookout for that. That's another pair we got going on. We're trying to have a drawing for those 2 weeks from this coming Sunday. So be on the lookout. No, that's 3 weeks from this Sunday. The next one are after that will be the Philadelphia Eagles. So y'all make sure y'all go to the Rise Up website, and if you want an opportunity to win those shoes,
I'm gonna go ahead and show the Eagles ones too.
Okay.
Weapon X. As much of a dire Steelers fan as I am, I love those Eagles shoes.
Yeah, like that.
They are just really good. Yeah, they're hot. They're hot.
You guys, if you want your shoes customized, go to Customs by Ruben. He does everything. You got some Vans, Gator shoes. You got some Chucks. You got Jordan. He does Jordan. He does kid shoes. Whatever you need. He does football cleats. If you want your own customized pair, let us know, and he will take care of you. This guy, he does outstanding work. So I tell you, I stand by it. This guy, he does a lot of work for me. He does a lot of work. And shout out to my hometown, Clovis, New Mexico. He does a lot of work over there. See him. He will take care of you, okay? So moving on to our next game, we got the Arizona Cardinals. Are There is so no the Seahawks won. Them and the Seahawks were at the top of the NFC West. I called it in the preseason when we were doing our picks. We did me and Ramona did an 8-part series where we went through all of the divisions, all 8 divisions one by one. And I kept trying to tell people the Arizona Cardinals were going to be a problem. I think Kyler Murray, when you look at, you give this guy a weapon like Hopkins, you give him Hopkins to go along with what he has with Christian Kirk and Larry Fitz and the kid Kenyon Drake. His mobility, this kid, when he gets in open field, Kyler Murray's a problem. Now, he's going to have his work cut out this week. We saw with the Washington football team's defensive line, they may have the best front seven in the league. When you look at that pass rush from the Washington football team, they have some ballers over there on the defensive side of the ball. But I don't think that they really see a guy like this. I mean, Dak can move and Wentz can move, but they don't really see a guy like this who can move like the way Kyler Murray can move. And then Washington has no offense. They have absolutely no offense.
They beat the Eagles.
Well, the Eagles have no offense either. So it's
I'm just saying, you say Washington has no offense, and that's not completely true.
They have a lot of.
They scored 27 points against Philly's defense. So.
They had like a couple of pick sixes too, and they sacked Carson Wentz 8 times and strip sacked and fumbled him. I mean, that wasn't because Dwayne Haskins threw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. It's because they had Carson Wentz running for his life. So Kyler Murray has his work cut out for him, but I'm still going to take Arizona. I think Arizona has too much offensive firepower. I think you see a lot of quick throws, a little dump offs to Kenyon Drake, and they have nothing on that side. They have nothing in the cornerback position that can deal with DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals 21-10.
I'm going to take the Cardinals as well. I think it's going to be a little bit closer to like 21-17. But I'm taking the Cardinals. The Cardinals defense is suspect. That's my problem. They didn't really that offense is on fire. They've got some great offensive weapons, but they really didn't do anything to shore up that defense. Last year their defense was their problem. This year
they drafted Isaiah Simmons.
One player does not make a defense. Come on. Look at Pittsburgh. Over the years, Pittsburgh Steelers have always had some elite defensive players.
You're comparing the card. You're comparing the. They still have Patrick Peterson. They drafted Isaiah Simmons. They still have Chandler Jones. They got.
Don't care. Look at the teams that they did get beat by, even though a lot of their losses last year were really close games, and I agree with that. But it was against teams that didn't have great offensive games against them either. And I still say it's the defense that's going to keep Arizona out of the playoffs this year. The defense.
Okay. You might be right. I still think they win this game though. We'll see.
I took Arizona to win.
Yeah, but I can definitely see that. So next game we got an AFC West battle. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Chargers. Let me start off by saying Patrick Mahomes, if he can stay healthy and not suffer any type of career-threatening injury and stays in that offense with what they have surrounded by him with, This is one of the most explosive. They looked in their first game like it was like game 5 or 6. Like
Well,
usually,
so did Baltimore.
Yeah, they looked like they had been like it was the middle of the season. They were in mid-season form. That offense is just incredible. And then you go and give them a weapon, and he is a weapon in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Running backs are not a dime a dozen. You see what he looks like in that system. What he looks like in that system. You have all of these weapons to defend. Who do you double? Who do you cover? Your linebackers have to chase Edwards-Helaire around. You got to worry about Kelsey. You got to worry about Sammy Watkins. You got to worry about Tyreek. You got to worry about Mecole Hardman. You got to worry about Demarcus Robinson. All of these guys run 4.2s and 4.3s. You got a quarterback who's mobile and deadly accurate. They are a problem. They are a problem. They can score anywhere on the field. They got good special teams. And their defense ain't that bad. It's not really that bad. That was kind of like the weakness of their team. Chris Jones is over there balling out. You got the Honey Badger over there. He's balling out. I just see no way. These guys are going to score 35, 40 points every week.
Yep.
Every week. That's what I expect from them. Because it's and the thing about it is you can't just focus on one person. Who do you double team? Do you double team Kelsey? If you double team Tyreek Hill, their third or fourth wide receiver will kill you. Or Kelsey will kill you. Or Edwards-Helaire coming out. And Edwards-Helaire, Damian Williams wasn't a bad player. He opted out, on the COVID opt-out. And then they draft this kid, Edwards-Helaire, and he's better than Damian Williams. So I think it's a blowout. I just think it's a blowout. I don't even think it's close. Give me a score in that game, Mona.
38 to 14. 38 to 10.
Ooh.
38 to 10.
You're giving them no kind of credit. I wasn't gonna say I wasn't gonna say that bad, but I said it was gonna win. But damn, Mona, you ain't giving them no credit.
I think 38-10. I'm gonna tell you, Kansas City's defense has impressed me too.
Yes, they have. I was just saying, like Honey Badger and Chris Jones, the money that they spent on Chris Jones was well worth it. So, moving on to another team that impresses me. These guys are a problem. And then they have a defense too. And I think your Steelers, I'm looking forward, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit here, but when the Steelers play when they play the Ravens, I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to that game. But in the meantime, we got the Ravens against the Texans. Last week, Bill O'Brien should have been fired on the sideline. Whoever's like in charge should have come down from the owner's box. Whoever the owner is, I don't know who the owner is. I know Bob McNair died. I don't know who the owner of the Texans is now. But whoever owns the Houston Texans should have come down from the owner's box and fired Bill O'Brien last year. It was very apparent last week that the Houston Texans missed DeAndre Hopkins. That's just what it is. You go from DeAndre Hopkins to Brandon Cooks, who's always hurt, Randall Cobb, Will Fuller, who's always hurt. Now David Johnson, he had a good game, and Deshaun Watson, he's a hell of a player. He's a deodorant. That's what we call him in football. He's a deodorant. He covers up all the stink from the Houston Texans. Their offensive line still is terrible. You give away your best player on your second best player, your wide receiver, your number one wide receiver. You give him away for magic beans. You give him away for nothing. And you don't in the draft. You don't have any draft picks because you gave away all your draft picks to pick up Laramie Tunsil. So it's just I feel bad. And then he just signed an extension. He signed a 4-year extension. It's not going to get better, guy. it's not going to get better for you. So I'm taking, the Ravens. They, we just talked about the Chiefs. They're in mid-season form. They're going to run the football. They are going to run the football. And then when they don't, they're going to throw it to Mark Andrews, the tight end, who, in my opinion, is the third best tight end in the league right now. I think Mark Andrews has surpassed Zach Ertz as the third best. To me, I think 1A, 1B, Kittle, Kelsey, whatever your flavor is. I prefer Kelsey. You like Kittle a little bit better, but I think it's indisputable they're the top 2 tight ends in the league. But after you get past those 2, Zach Ertz, Mark Andrews, that's your next guys right there. And Mark Andrews has been balling out, and Lamar Jackson, he's worked on his accuracy, his ability to throw the football. I think this is another stinker. And their defense is incredible. They got rid of a locker room cancer that was Earl Thomas, and I think this is a blowout. I'm thinking 32 to 12.
Wow. I think the Texans are going to be lucky to score a touchdown. I simply do. I think I told you earlier on who I thought was going to be in the Super Bowl this year. And I think it very well could be the Baltimore Ravens. And I thought the Dallas Cowboys, but it's a toss-up for me. Cowboys, Packers. And I could almost see Aaron Rodgers going for one more Super Bowl. And the way he was played last week, man, I'm going to tell you something. I was highly impressed. I just don't know if they've got the defense for it. The offense, I'm kind of sold on that offense, but defensively, I have a problem with that. So, but I think Baltimore's going. I really think that out of the AFC, it's going to be either Baltimore or the Kansas City Chiefs. One or the other. It's going to be one or the other.
Well, yeah, I think in the end, when you look at that AFC playoff picture, when you look at...
And I won't leave out the Bills not going to the Super Bowl, because I really think that the Buffalo Bills have absolutely hit exactly where they need to go as far as offensively and defensively. Getting players healthy.
I'm not ready to... as far as the Bills, I'm not ready to give it to them on the offensive side of the ball. What I saw from Josh Allen last week,
said Buffalo Bills will bombard.
What I saw with Josh Allen last week, although he had the 300 yards passing, and I'll give him credit for that. Even it was against the Jets. You can only play who's in front of you. But the things that I saw from him, and I don't want to go back to it, but I will. You cannot make those types of mistakes against good teams. If you give the Kansas City Chiefs extra possessions, you give Patrick Mahomes, you turn over the ball in the red zone 2 times with Patrick Mahomes, that goes from a close game into a blowout. You cannot give the Baltimore Ravens extra possessions, because they're just going to run the ball and keep the ball away from you. Right. He needs to clean up his game a little bit. You can't miss open targets, and you cannot fumble the ball. You cannot just fumbling the ball. That game should have been over in the first half. That game should have been 35-0 at halftime. And you gave it, and you let them back in the game. When you get an opportunity to step on a team's throat, you do it and you finish them off. You don't let them stick around, because that's what happened in the playoff game against the Texans last year. You let them stick around instead of burying them. It was 23-0 in the first half. You cannot do that. You cannot give Deshaun Watson extra possessions. So moving on, next game, Patriots, Seattle. I'm going to read some of these comments.
Game of the week, I think.
Huh?
I think this is going to be one of the games of the week.
I believe so too. I believe so.
I think it's going to be an absolute shootout. Both quarterbacks can run the ball. Seattle defense Patriots. I think they're evenly matched.
I believe so too.
But I think Russell Wilson's a better quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I think Russell Wilson is probably one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league, top 2 even. I always have to pitch Mahomes up, 1 and Jackson 2, 1-2, 1-2 kind of thing. But I think Russell Wilson is definitely
he's right there. He's right there with, and I think you got to put, after what I saw last week, I think you got to put Aaron Rodgers back in that conversation.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's still early. These guys, the 3 that I mentioned first, are younger,
yes,
healthier, probably as far as body health than Aaron Rodgers. But Aaron Rodgers has something they don't have, and that's the experience.
The experience,
So,
without a doubt.
The Patriots game, you know what? I was really impressed with Cam Newton. I really was. I think we did see that maybe it was Belichick. I think it was a combination of actually the players that they have around.
Look, sometimes sometimes people want to sit up there and they want to give all of the credit to somebody. Okay, if we're gonna play that game, let's play this game. Is it Andy Reid or is it Patrick Mahomes? Who deserves the credit? Andy Reid or Patrick?
You have to give it to Patrick Mahomes. Although I do think Andy Reid is a quarterbacks type coach.
We've seen Andy Reid when he was in Philly. He made Donovan McNabb and he made Michael Vick after Michael Vick was not known for his passing.
Whoa. No, see, I'm stopping you right there. I'm stopping you right there. You're not.
Kevin
Cobb.
Good.
Reed made McNabb look good, but I'm going to tell you something. Michael Vick looked good when he came in the NFL. His biggest problem His biggest problem was he threw the ball so damn hard his receivers couldn't catch the damn pass. That was the issue.
Coaching. That's coaching, and he wasn't very accurate.
Go
back and look at Michael
coaching because he didn't change. Even when he played for Pittsburgh, he didn't change. When he had to throw the football, he still threw it like a bullet.
He was done by the time he got to Pittsburgh. When he first got in the league,
the man still had a better arm than most of the quarterbacks in the NFL when he played for Pittsburgh.
There's a lot of quarterbacks that have good arms. What I mean by playing quarterback, you know who else has got a good arm? You know who had a great arm? Jamarcus Russell. He had a great arm too. And he couldn't hit the ocean 3 times with a beach ball if you gave him 3 chances.
Yeah, but see, Michael Vick wasn't accurate. You're not going to tell me Michael Vick wasn't accurate because I know he wasn't.
He wasn't accurate. Go back and look at his. Go back and look at. We'll pull it up. You look at his.
Look how many passes were dropped because his receivers couldn't catch the ball, but it wasn't because he wasn't accurate. You want to talk about somebody who wasn't accurate? Let's talk about Donovan McNabb, Mr. Shoestring passer himself.
Okay, well, who were his wide receivers? You want to talk about receivers?
Oh, he had some receivers. Don't you even go there with me.
Billy McMullen and Freddie Mitchell. Yes, the world famous Freddie Mitchell.
No, you know what he did? I watched those games. I was deep into those games because of my son. And I'm telling you, you cannot have a receiver. You can't throw him under the bus when you're throwing the ball to him, and him having to come back and try to catch passes that you're short throwing and throwing them at their damn shoes. That's exactly what Donovan McNabb did.
Okay,
and not only that, but look how many receivers he hurt during his career with Philly.
All I'm saying is the first time they gave Donovan McNabb an All-Pro receiver, Terrell Owens, he goes to the Super Bowl. So I think that shows right there his whole career. He had garbage receivers, and the first time they gave him good receivers, he balled out. So
Chuck just said, I could see Ramona Leswich, I could see her loving Vic. Honest to God, I am not a Virginia Tech fan. Never was, never will be. couldn't stand him at Virginia Tech, but I give a player credit when I see the kind of career he could have had he had better coaching. Granted, he got better coaching when he did go to Andy Reid, but by that point, I think it was too late. So, but anyway.
I just hate when people sit up there and they look, sometimes you just have a match made in heaven. That's what who deserves more credit? The coach from the 49ers back in the day, the West Coast offense, or Joe Montana? Bill Walsh, or Joe Montana? Who deserves the credit? Sometimes what you get,
I don't care who it is. It's still the man throwing the football.
Sometimes you get a good marriage. You get a good marriage, and they come together, and they both make each other look good. But I'm with you, Ramona, as far as with Belichick, and that's what I try to tell people about good coaching. When I say coaching matters, he takes what Cam Newton does, which is run the football, and it's like they totally redesigned their offense to they totally designed their offense to him. He ran the ball. He looked really good. Now, I think this week, I think the sledding gets a little bit tougher, because if he tries to run like that, they got that Jamal Adams over there that'll probably be spying him the whole game. So I think things will be a little bit tougher. I think you see a little bit more James White action in this game here. I think you see a little bit more James White sneaking out the backfield. But I'm gonna take the Patriots. I'm gonna take the Patriots in this one.
I'm taking Seattle. I'm taking Seattle. It's in Seattle. If it was in New England, I would take the Patriots at that point, only because I know Seattle doesn't travel well east and play well after traveling that far. But I'm going to take Seattle because it's in Seattle. It's at home, so I'm taking Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle without the 12s, no fans in the seats. So if Seattle had their fans, I would be a little bit more likely to give that to them. But I think Bill Belichick comes up with a game plan, and I think they win that game. I'm going to say I don't think it'll be a very high scoring game. I'm going to give it to the Patriots 2017.
2017?
Yes.
And I'm giving it to Seattle 21-17. So
okay. All right. Okay. So moving on to our next game, we got the Saints and the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. Shout out to Donovan Samuels. Last week, I was thoroughly impressed with the Saints. That was a big game, a statement game, what they were able to do. Chuck Thomas, Buck Flair, I see you in the comments. Breeze, he outplayed Brady last week, and Alvin Kamara showed up. He signed his contract. He showed up last week. Now, I will say this. There is no Michael Thomas this week, and that's big. That is huge. So I think you see a lot of Alvin Kamara coming out the backfield, and be aware of a Emmanuel Sanders sighting. An Emmanuel Sanders sighting. I am taking the Raiders to win this game without Michael Thomas, who's just a flex option. Shout out to William Richter. He's just a flex option. So I'm gonna take the Raiders in this one. I think you got the upset of the week. I think Josh Jacobs runs wild this week.
I've got the Saints. What do you think the score's going to be?
I'm going to say another nail biter. I'm going to see 17-14. 17-14. I think without Michael Thomas, I think that really takes away what the Saints can do. I think that takes Drew Brees looks for him all the time. He looks for him all the time. Without his number one target, I just think this week you see a lot of dump offs to Alvin Kamara. I thought the Raiders defense, they looked okay last week. And I think Gruden pounds Josh Jacobs. And I think this week you see Henry Ruggs. I think you see Henry Ruggs catch a long touchdown pass.
Well, I look at Vegas playing the Carolina Panthers, and I'm just not sold on the Panthers at all. I think the Saints absolutely beat them 34-14.
Oh, you got 34?
Oh yeah, I think I just don't think they're going to be able to stop Kamara, and I do think that Drew Brees has enough weapons to throw the ball to keep that defense honest. And they stack the box, he's going to throw the ball all over the field. He's got all kinds of receivers he can throw the ball to. And he's going to. When they're trying to stop Kamara, that's when he's going to throw the football down the field. I think he's going to shock a lot of people. I know, a lot of people don't agree with that, but that's fine. That's my pick. That's why I chose my pick'ems too.
Okay. So I think that's all of the games. We have a special. We have a special segment that we haven't done in a long time. We got the Die Hard Rocky Blyer Award, and me and Ramona, we were talking about it. We were like, who has displayed this type of toughness and grit? And me and Ramona, we decided we're going to roll with the number one pick for this past draft, Joe Burrow.
I just want to call him the kid. I just want to call him Joe the Kid. Joey the Kid. Yeah, I got to call him Joey the Kid. I think that, he took some hits this weekend and still was getting up and throwing the football. Myles Garrett was the highlights I saw. Myles Garrett was breathing down his neck, and this kid was standing there and still throwing the ball down the field. I was impressed with what highlights I got to see of the game. So that anytime they beat my cousin's team, the Cleveland Browns, as much as I do love the Browns and that rivalry we used to have, seeing this kid whip up on this so-called great Cleveland Browns team that I have said over and over that Baker Mayfield is way just not. He's not the quarterback everybody thinks he is. So there you go.
Yeah, I was extremely impressed with the kid. We'll be bringing back the Rocky Blyer Award, Ramona's.
Yep. The Rocky Blyer Award. That's my special award of the week. So
that's Ramona's. Mine is levels to this, but the Die Hard Award, that Ramona, she'll be presenting that every week going forward. A player who just plays the determination and toughness that Ramona loves so well. So she'll be picking those out. So I think that's it right there. I think we covered everything. Make sure you guys. Next week, not this Sunday, next Sunday, we will be announcing the winner for the Rise Up customized Buffalo Bills Under Armour cleats. If you want an opportunity to win those cleats, go to the Rise Up page and you can buy your tickets, your raffle tickets there. Go and get those.
Okay, and by the way, Will made a point for me. Baker only looked good last week because of Hunt and Chubb. I absolutely 100%. I said that before our show even started. I told exactly Marcus. I told you that it was the running game that made Baker look good.
Before we started the show, you darn sure did.
I'm going to show that last video we have. I'm going to go ahead and show it.
Okay, sounds good. Buck Blair says Jalen Ramsey won the Oscar award. He damn sure did. That was Oh my God, that was terrible. That was terrible.
Julio.
Julio.
Those are sick, man. I'm telling you, those are some sick plays. They really are. I still like the Eagles, even though I like my Steelers one too, but I really like the X Factor there.
That's pretty hot. That's pretty hot. If y'all want the opportunity to win these cleats, let us know. Go to the Rise Up website and go get those tickets. And you got more tickets you buy, more opportunity. You're talking about probably after all the work's done, you're talking about $180, $200 pair of cleats. So, you buy $40 worth of tickets. That's 10 tickets, and you got an opportunity to win it. So, Ramon, you got any last words? You got any last words for everybody?
Yeah, last words. Thank you all for joining in. We love all the viewership and all the comments and being able to talk with you guys. Do you want to read any of the last bit of comments?
I did. I said Jalen Ramsey won the Oscar award. Can't wait to see Ravens Steelers on Thanksgiving. He threw 61 times, Will Lombard. Baker coming back to reality next week. Burrow looked better with no offensive line than Baker did with all his weapons. Will Lombard. Great show, Dalton. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you.
We sure do. And get your tickets, guys. Get your tickets for those cleats. They will be raffled off.
Get your tickets. If you need your Rise Up gear, we got hoodies. I got hoodies. I'm doing long sleeve T-shirts. Y'all saw a lot of y'all. I sent you your T-shirts. I'm doing long sleeve T-shirts and hoodies now, and I'm doing canvas bags. Coming soon. Next week you'll see those.
There's totes. They are like canvas, like totes. Yep, not canvas, but what are they called? What's it?
It is canvas. It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's get those hoodies. It's getting cold. Look, I live in Texas. Okay, I live in Texas. It's warm here most of the time. It gets a little bit cold. But all y'all over there on the East Coast, get your Rise Up hoodie. Let me know so I can get those done for you. I print those up every week. We got a few people who've ordered some. Shout out to Ernest Ollis and Dre Cartier, Dez Cartier, for doing that. So if y'all want a hoodie, let me know. They're $45, and I'll get those to y'all. I'll get those in the mail to y'all.
And the t-shirts are short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts.
I got short sleeve t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, and now I got hoodies. So if you want a hoodie, I got them in black, red, and gray and white. Black, red, gray, and white. So if you need that, let me know and we'll get that to you. But
he's still getting the face mask and stuff as well. So
if you got masks, we still got this pandemic going on. If you want a custom made mask, a Buffalo Bills custom made mask, Ravens, Steelers, Ramona, she'll be getting her Steelers mask. Y'all see her up in there, and we'll get you in the ad. So you can be on the On Point Network. So once again, thank you for
our models for the t-shirts and hoodies and the mask and stuff. Just send us a photo if you buy from us, and send us a photo wearing the clothing line or the mask. And, that way we can put you on the video and post you up there on make you famous. Who knows?
Might be. So Ramona, she does all the videos and stuff, and she'll get you on there. But thank you everybody for watching. If you missed it, make sure you go to the On Point Network at midnight Eastern time, and you can see the show again. It'll be downloaded on there. Or just go back. You can go to the Rise Up page, and the show will be on there. Make sure you're liking and sharing so we can get those views up. The more views we get, then we're able to do other things. So we appreciate your support. Watch those games, be in the chat rooms. It's really fun. Good luck to everybody in fantasy football, and we'll see y'all next week. Be safe out there and take care of each other. Thank you for everything. We'll see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.